How to Learn English, a personal journey in 6 steps. Welcome to this guide, where I'll take you through a journey on how to learn English effectively. Learning a new language is more than memorizing words. It's about embracing a new way to connect, express, and grow. Let me share a 6-step process that helped me achieve fluency and could help you too. 1. Finding your purpose and setting goals. When embarking on any learning journey, understanding why you are doing it is crucial. This is particularly true when learning a language like English. Without a clear sense of purpose, the process can feel daunting, and you might find yourself losing motivation. For me, this realization came early on when I tried learning English simply because it was a school requirement. My progress was slow, and I often felt frustrated. It wasn't until I discovered my personal reasons for learning English that everything began to change. Understanding your purpose. Ask yourself, why do I want to learn English? The answer will be unique to you, and it doesn't need to be overly complicated. For some, it might be for professional growth, such as advancing in a career or preparing for a job in an English-speaking country. For others, it could be to connect with friends, family, or a global community. Some learners want to enjoy entertainment like movies, TV shows, or books in their original language. For me, it was a combination of reasons. Growing up in a small town, I always dreamed of traveling the world and meeting people from different cultures. I wanted to communicate without barriers and understand the global perspectives that were often locked behind a language I didn't yet know. This realization gave me a sense of excitement and determination that drove me forward. Take time to reflect on your reasons. Write them down. These reasons will become the foundation of your learning journey and will keep you motivated during challenging moments. The power of goal setting. Once you have a clear purpose, it's time to set goals. Goals act as a roadmap to guide you toward fluency. However, not all goals are created equal. When I first started, I made the mistake of setting vague objectives like, I want to speak English fluently. While this was a good aspiration, it lacked structure and clarity, making it hard to measure progress. The key to effective goal setting is to follow the SMART criteria. Specific. Be clear about what you want to achieve. Instead of saying, learn vocabulary, specify, learn 50 new words related to travel. Measurable. Quantify your goals so you can track progress. For example, read 10 pages of an English book daily. Achievable. Set realistic goals based on your current level. Don't aim to write essays if you're still learning basic grammar. Relevant. Ensure your goals align with your purpose. If you're learning English for work, focus on business vocabulary. Time-bound. Set deadlines to keep yourself accountable. For instance, learn 100 new words in 2 months. Breaking goals. Into milestones. Long-term goals, such as achieving fluency, can feel overwhelming. That's why breaking them into smaller, manageable milestones is essential. For example, 1. In the first month, focus on basic greetings, introductions, and common phrases. 2nd, in the 2nd month, learn simple grammar structures like the present tense and prepositions. 3rd, by the 3rd month, aim to have a short conversation with someone in English. Each milestone brings a sense of accomplishment, which boosts your confidence and keeps you motivated. When I set these milestones for myself, I found that I was more consistent. Instead of being overwhelmed by the thought of speaking fluently, I focused on one small task at a time, such as learning 10 new words or writing a short paragraph. Customizing goals to your lifestyle. One of the biggest challenges learners face is finding time to study. Life is busy, and adding language learning to your schedule might seem impossible. However, it's important to integrate English into your daily routine. For instance, I realized that I could combine learning with activities I already enjoyed. I listened to English podcasts while commuting, watched TV shows with subtitles during my downtime, and labeled household items in English to reinforce vocabulary. Here are some examples of how you can customize your goals to fit your lifestyle. If you're a morning person, dedicate 15 minutes to practicing vocabulary or grammar right after waking up. Use your lunch break to listen to an English podcast or audiobook. Spend 10 minutes before bed writing about your day in English. By embedding English into your daily habits, you'll find that learning becomes less of a chore and more of a natural part of your life. Staying motivated. Motivation isn't something you have all the time. It's something you build. There were days when I felt discouraged, especially when progress seemed slow. What kept me going was my ability to revisit my purpose and remind myself why I started. Here are some strategies to stay motivated. Celebrate small wins. Did you learn 20 new words this week? Treat yourself. Did you understand a short video without subtitles? Share your achievement with a friend. Track your progress. Keep a journal of your goals, what you've achieved, and what you're currently working on. Seeing how far you've come can reignite your determination. Visualize success. Imagine yourself confidently speaking English in a meeting, enjoying an English book, or traveling without a language barrier. Visualization can be a powerful motivator. Overcoming challenges. Challenges are inevitable, but they're also opportunities for growth. When I struggled to remember new words or felt embarrassed speaking English in front of others, I reminded myself that mistakes are part of the process. Some tips for overcoming challenges. Be patient with yourself. Learning a language is not a race. Progress takes time. Seek support. Join a study group or connect with language partners who can encourage and guide you. Learn from mistakes. Instead of being frustrated when you make a mistake, treat it as a lesson. Each error brings you closer to improvement. A strong foundation for the journey. Ahead. Finding your purpose and setting goals is the first step in learning English, but it's also the most important. This foundation will guide you throughout your journey, ensuring that you stay focused, motivated, and on track. So, what is your purpose for learning English? Take a moment to reflect, set your goals, and let this be the beginning of an exciting adventure. 2. Building a foundation, vocabulary and grammar. When learning English, building a strong foundation in vocabulary and grammar is essential. Without these, even the most confident learner will struggle to communicate effectively. In this section, I'll dive deep into the strategies and methods that helped me overcome the initial hurdles and create a solid base for my language journey. Understanding the importance of vocabulary. Vocabulary is the building block of any language. Imagine trying to construct a sentence without knowing the right words. It's like trying to build a house without bricks. When I first started learning English, I was overwhelmed by the sheer number of words I needed to know. However, I soon realized that quality mattered more than quantity. Instead of memorizing random words, I focused on learning the most common and useful ones. Research suggests that knowing just 2,000 high-frequency words can help you understand 80% of everyday conversations. This became my goal. Here's how you can start. 1. Focus on essential words. Begin with everyday vocabulary like greetings, family terms, and common objects. Words like hello, table, book, mother, and water are great starting points. 2. Group words by category. Learning related words together makes it easier to remember them. For example, study all the words related to food, clothing, or travel in one go. 3. Learn phrases, not just words. Instead of memorizing eat, learn phrases like I eat breakfast every day or what do you want to eat? Phrases provide context, making it easier to use words naturally. Techniques for expanding vocabulary. 1. Flashcards. Flashcards were a game changer for me. I wrote the English word on one side and its meaning or picture on the other. Apps like Anki or Quizlet can also help create digital flashcards. Second reading. Reading English books, articles, or even comic strips exposes you to new words in context. When I read, I kept a notebook nearby to jot down unfamiliar words. Later, I'd review and practice them. Third word of the day. Every day, I challenged myself to learn one new word and use it in sentences. For instance, when I learned the word gratitude, I wrote, I feel gratitude for my teacher. 4. Labels around the house. I labeled everyday items in my home with their English names: door, mirror, cupboard. This constant visual reminder reinforced my learning. 5. Synonyms and antonyms. Learning groups of words with similar or opposite meanings helped expand my vocabulary faster. For example, knowing big led me to learn huge, large, and their antonym, small. Mastering grammar, the framework of communication. If vocabulary is the bricks, grammar is the blueprint. Without proper grammar, sentences can become confusing or even meaningless. Yet, the rules can feel overwhelming at first. I struggled with grammar initially. Terms like present perfect tense or modal verbs sounded intimidating. However, breaking grammar into manageable chunks made it less daunting. Step-by-step grammar learning 1. Start simple. Begin with the basics: nouns, verbs, adjectives, and pronouns. For instance, O noun, cat, O verb, run O adjective, small O pronoun. He builds simple sentences like, the small cat runs fast. 2. Learn sentence structure. English typically follows the subject-verb-object, SVO order. For example, OI, subject, eat, verb, apples, object. Understanding this structure helped me construct sentences more confidently. Third tense by tense. Instead of trying to learn all 12 English tenses at once, I started with the simple present tense and practiced it thoroughly. Example: Oh, I eat breakfast at 8 a.m. Once I mastered this, I moved on to the past tense. I ate breakfast at 8 a.m., and so on. Practice common grammar rules. Focus on key rules like subject-verb agreement, e.g., she eats versus they eat, and proper word order for questions, e.g., what is your name? Tools and resources for grammar practice. 1. Grammar books. Books like English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy were invaluable. They explained concepts simply and provided exercises for practice. 2. Online resources. Websites like Grammarly and apps like Duolingo offer interactive grammar lessons. These tools corrected my mistakes and explained the rules. 3. Writing exercises. I wrote short paragraphs daily, focusing on applying a specific grammar rule. For instance, one day, I practiced using will for future tense. I will visit my friend tomorrow. 4. Listening to grammar in use. Watching videos or listening to podcasts where native speakers naturally used grammar helped me internalize rules without consciously memorizing them. Overcoming common grammar challenges 1. Prepositions. Words like in, on, and at confused me for a long time. I made a list of common preposition phrases and practiced them in sentences. For example, oh in the morning, oh on the table, oh at 5 o'clock too. Articles, a and the. Understanding when to use these tiny words was tricky. I learned that a and an are for general things, a cat, an apple, while the refers to something specific, the book on the table. 3. Irregular verbs. English is full of irregular verbs that don't follow standard rules. Go, went, eat, ate. I created flashcards for these and reviewed them regularly. Combining vocabulary and grammar. The real magic happens when you combine vocabulary and grammar in practice. Here's how I did it. Make sentences with new words. Every time I learned a new word, I used it in a sentence following proper grammar rules. For example, with the word excited, I am excited about my trip. Storytelling. I wrote short stories using the words and grammar I was learning. This exercise forced me to think creatively while reinforcing my knowledge. Language exchanges. Speaking with a language partner allowed me to practice both vocabulary and grammar in real conversations. A strong foundation for growth building. A foundation in vocabulary and grammar takes time and effort, but it's worth it. These skills are the stepping stones to fluency. By focusing on the basics, practicing regularly, and using the language in context, you'll develop confidence and clarity in your communication. Remember, every word you learn and every grammar rule you master brings you one step closer to your goal. Take it slow, be consistent, and enjoy the process of discovery. 3. Listening and imitation. The path to natural fluency. Listening and imitation are perhaps the most underestimated but crucial aspects of learning English. These methods are like the secret sauce for developing fluency and pronunciation. They expose you to the rhythm, tone, and melody of the language, allowing you to sound more natural over time. In this section, I'll share how listening transformed my English skills and how imitation made me more confident in speaking. The power of active listening. Listening is where it all begins. Before you can speak well, you need to hear the language as much as possible. When I started my English journey, I listened to everything I could: songs, movies, podcasts, and even YouTube videos. It was challenging at first, as native speakers seemed to talk too fast, but gradually my ears adapted. Here's how you can practice active listening effectively. 1. Start with simple materials. Begin with content designed for learners, like English language audiobooks or podcasts for beginners. Graded Readers with Audio were my go-to resource. They provided stories in easy English, and hearing them helped me understand how words were pronounced in context. 2. Watch with subtitles. When watching movies or TV shows, I turned on subtitles. This helped me connect the spoken word with its written form. Shows like Friends or The Simpsons were perfect because they used everyday language. 3. Repeat and replay. I replayed short audio clips until I could understand every word. At first, I could only catch a few words, but with practice, entire sentences became clear. 4. Listen daily. Consistency is key. I made it a habit to listen to at least 15 to 20 minutes of English every day, whether during my morning walk or while cooking. Listening for different skills. Listening serves multiple purposes. Here's how I used it to improve specific aspects of my English. 1. Vocabulary and context. Hearing words in context helped me learn their usage. For instance, I learned that get can mean obtain, e.g., I'll get a ticket, or understand, e.g., I get it. 2. Grammar patterns. Native speakers naturally use correct grammar. By listening closely, I picked up structures like questions, what are you doing, or conditionals, if it rains, we'll stay inside. 3. Accents and intonation. Listening exposed me to various accents, American, British, Australian. It helped me understand that pronunciation and intonation can differ but still convey the same message. The role of imitation. Imitation is where listening meets speaking. It's like learning to dance by copying the moves of a skilled dancer. When I mimicked native speakers, I not only improved my pronunciation, but also gained confidence. 1. Shadowing technique. This technique became my favorite practice method. I played a short audio clip, paused it, and repeated what I heard, mimicking the speaker's tone, speed, and rhythm. Over time, my speech began to sound more natural. 2. Mirroring conversations. I listened to dialogues and tried to imitate both sides of the conversation. For example, I would mimic how one character in a movie asked a question and how the other responded. 3. Songs and lyrics. Singing along to English songs was not only fun but also great for improving fluency. Songs taught me how to link words and use contractions like I'm instead of I am, or don't instead of do not. Practicing common phrases. I imitated frequently used phrases such as, how are you? What's the matter? Or see you later. These phrases became second nature after regular practice. Overcoming listening challenges. Listening to a foreign language isn't always easy. Here are some common hurdles and how I overcame them. 1. Fast speech. Native speakers often talk quickly. To tackle this, I slowed down the audio using apps or video players. This gave me time to catch each word. 2. Unfamiliar accents. Accents can vary widely. I exposed myself to different accents gradually. For example, I started with American English, more familiar to me, before moving to British or Australian accents. 3. Unknown words. When I didn't understand a word, I noted it down, looked it up later, and listened to it again in context. 4. Background noise. Real-life conversations often happen in noisy environments. To prepare for this, I listened to audio recordings with ambient sounds, such as interviews in cafes or street scenes in movies. Creating a listening routine. To make listening a habit, I designed a daily routine that kept me motivated. Morning. Start the day with a podcast or an audiobook. Listening while preparing breakfast is a great way to fit English practice into a busy schedule. Afternoon. Watch a short video or a TED Talk during lunch. Focus on understanding the speaker's main ideas. Evening. Dedicate time to an episode of your favorite English series. Use subtitles initially, then switch them off as your skills improve. Night. Before sleeping, listen to calming English audio, like bedtime stories or guided meditations. This reinforces language learning while relaxing the mind. Listening and imitation for fluency. These two techniques together act as a bridge between understanding and expressing English. Listening improves comprehension, while imitation builds confidence in speaking. The more I practiced, the more natural English felt to me. Through listening, I absorbed the language. Through imitation, I expressed it. And over time, these practices brought me closer to fluency. 4. Speaking and confidence building. Finding your voice in English. Speaking is the ultimate goal for many English learners, yet it's often the most daunting part of the journey. I vividly remember the nervousness I felt the first time I tried to speak English in public. My hands trembled, my heart raced, and I stumbled over words. But over time, I developed strategies that transformed my anxiety into confidence. In this section, I'll guide you through the process of mastering English speaking skills while building the confidence to express yourself. Why speaking feels challenging. Before diving into solutions, let's address why speaking in English can feel so intimidating. 1. Fear of mistakes. Many of us hesitate to speak because we're afraid of making grammatical errors or mispronouncing words. 2. Lack of practice. Unlike reading or listening, speaking often requires interaction with others, which isn't always easy to arrange. 3. Low confidence. Negative self-talk like "I'll never sound fluent" can discourage us from trying. 4. Unfamiliar accents. Adopting the right pronunciation and intonation feels overwhelming at first. These challenges are common, but they're not insurmountable. Let me share how I tackled them. Step 1. Start small and gradual. When I first started speaking English, I didn't aim for perfection. Instead, I focused on making small, manageable progress. 1. Talk to yourself. Speaking doesn't always require a partner. I practiced by narrating my daily activities in English. For example, "Oh, I'm making tea. The water is boiling. Now I'll add sugar." This simple exercise helped me think in English and find the right words more quickly. 2. Record your voice. I recorded myself speaking about simple topics, like my favorite food or recent events. Listening to these recordings allowed me to identify areas for improvement, such as pronunciation or sentence structure. 3. Mirror practice. I stood in front of a mirror and practiced common phrases or dialogues. Watching myself helped me focus on nonverbal cues like facial expressions and body language. Step 2. Build confidence through repetition. Confidence grows with familiarity. Repeating words, phrases, and sentences until they felt natural was a game changer. 1. Focus on common phrases. I memorized phrases like, "Oh, could you please help me?" "Oh, I'd like to order." "Oh, excuse me, where is the nearest?" These phrases made daily interactions smoother and boosted my confidence. 2. Practice tongue twisters. Tongue twisters like "she sells seashells by the seashore" improved my pronunciation and fluency. Repeating them slowly and then at normal speed made speaking feel less intimidating. 3. Read aloud. I read books, articles, and even text messages out loud. This exercise improved my clarity and allowed me to practice new vocabulary. Step 3. Create opportunities to speak to improve. I needed real-life speaking experiences. Here's how I created opportunities. 1. Join language exchange programs. I connected with native speakers through language exchange apps and online forums. These conversations were mutually beneficial. They practiced my native language and I practiced English. 2. Participate in online communities. Joining English-speaking groups on social media or forums gave me the chance to share my thoughts and opinions in writing, which eventually translated into speaking confidence. 3. Speak with friends or family. I asked English-speaking friends or family members to converse with me. Even short conversations were helpful. Attend meetups. I attended local English conversation meetups or clubs where learners and native speakers gathered to practice. Step 4. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. One of the biggest shifts in my mindset was learning to view mistakes as a natural part of growth. 1. Laugh at your mistakes. I stopped taking errors too seriously and learned to laugh them off. This made speaking more enjoyable and less stressful. 2. Learn from feedback. When someone corrected me, I noted the correction and practiced using the correct form. For example, if I said, "he go to school," and someone corrected me to, "he goes to school," I repeated the correct sentence several times. 3. Celebrate small wins. Speaking a complete sentence without hesitation or using a new word in context felt like a victory. Acknowledging these small successes kept me motivated. Step 5. Enhance pronunciation and fluency. Speaking fluently requires both good pronunciation and rhythm. Here's how I worked on these skills. 1. Listen and repeat. I listened to native speakers and imitated their pronunciation. Apps like Forvo and Youglish were helpful for learning how specific words are pronounced in different accents. 2. Use phonetic guides. Learning the International Phonetic Alphabet, IPA, improved my understanding of sounds that didn't exist in my native language. 3. Practice linking words. Native speakers often connect words like saying wanna instead of want to. I practiced these natural patterns to sound more fluent. 4. Shadow native speakers. I played short clips of conversations, paused after each sentence, and repeated exactly what I heard. This technique, known as shadowing, improved my fluency and intonation. Step 6. Overcome fear of public speaking. Speaking in public was initially terrifying, but these strategies helped me conquer my fear. 1. Start with small groups. I began by speaking in front of a few trusted friends. Their encouragement built my confidence. 2. Prepare in advance. For situations like presentations or interviews, I practiced what I wanted to say multiple times beforehand. 3. Use visual aids. If I forgot a word during a speech, having notes or a visual aid helped me stay on track. 4. Focus on the message. Instead of worrying about my grammar, I focused on conveying my message clearly, speaking fluently and confidently. Speaking English is a skill that requires time, patience, and consistent effort. The more I practiced, the more natural it felt. Every conversation became an opportunity to improve, and every mistake was a step forward. Speaking isn't just about words. It's about expressing yourself, connecting with others, and embracing the language fully. And as I discovered, the more you speak, the more you find your voice. 5. Reading and writing skills, expanding your horizons. Reading and writing are foundational skills that not only improve your overall English proficiency, but also deepen your understanding of the language. These skills serve as a gateway to mastering vocabulary, grammar, and even cultural nuances. In this section, I'll share my journey of integrating reading and writing into my learning process, along with practical strategies you can use to enhance these abilities. Why reading and writing are vital. Reading exposes you to new words, structures, and ideas, while writing helps you process and internalize what you've learned. Together, they create a strong foundation for fluency. Here are some key benefits. 1. Vocabulary expansion. Encountering words in context helps you understand their meanings and usage naturally. 2. Improved grammar. Reading well-constructed sentences ingrains proper grammar subconsciously. 3. Better expression. Writing allows you to articulate your thoughts clearly and creatively. 4. Critical thinking. Reading diverse perspectives sharpens your analytical skills, while writing helps you organize and present your ideas logically. Step 1. Start with graded readers and simplified texts. When I began my English learning journey, jumping straight into complex books felt overwhelming. Instead, I turned to graded readers, books tailored for different language proficiency levels. 1. Choose the right level. If you're a beginner, start with books labeled as Level 1 or Starter. They use basic vocabulary and simple sentence structures. 2. Use picture books. Even as an adult, I found children's books incredibly helpful. The combination of visuals and simple text made learning enjoyable. 3. Read short stories. Short stories allowed me to experience a complete narrative without feeling intimidated by length. Step 2. Develop a daily reading habit. Consistency was the key to my progress. Here's how I made reading a part of my daily routine. 1. Set a time. I dedicated 20 to 30 minutes every day to reading, whether it was in the morning, during lunch breaks, or before bed. 2. Create a comfortable environment. A quiet space with good lighting and a comfortable chair helped me focus better. 3. Start small. I began with a few pages a day and gradually increased the amount as I grew more comfortable. 4. Mix genres. To keep things interesting, I alternated between fiction, nonfiction, and articles on topics I enjoyed. Step 3. Leverage digital tools for reading. Technology played a significant role in my reading journey. Here are some tools and platforms that made a difference. 1. E-readers. Devices like Kindle allowed me to access books instantly and use features like inbuilt dictionaries to look up unfamiliar words. 2. Language learning apps. Apps like LingQ and ReadLang provided texts with translations and audio, making comprehension easier. 3. Online articles and blogs. I followed blogs and websites on topics of interest, such as travel, technology, and lifestyle, to learn practical vocabulary. Fourth, subtitled videos. Watching movies or shows with subtitles helped me connect spoken and written English. Step 4. Transition to advanced texts. Once I felt confident with basic texts, I gradually moved to more challenging materials. 1. Classic literature. Books by authors like Jane Austen and Mark Twain introduced me to rich vocabulary and timeless stories. 2. Newspapers and magazines. Reading reputable publications like the New York Times or National Geographic exposed me to formal and journalistic styles. Third, academic texts. Exploring essays, research papers, or advanced textbooks pushed my comprehension skills further. Step 5. Strengthen writing skills. Writing was a transformative part of my English learning experience. It allowed me to express myself while refining grammar and vocabulary. 1. Start a journal. I began by writing daily journal entries. At first, they were simple, like, "Oh, today I went to the park. It was sunny and I enjoyed the fresh air." Over time, my entries became more descriptive and nuanced. 2. Use prompts. Creative prompts like, "Write about your dream vacation," sparked ideas and encouraged me to experiment with language. 3. Practice emails and letters. Writing emails, even if unsent, taught me formal and professional language styles. 4th, experiment with essays. I challenged myself to write short essays on topics of interest, focusing on structure, clarity, and argumentation. Step 6. Edit and learn from feedback. To improve my writing, I made editing a regular habit. 1. Self-editing. I reviewed my texts for grammar, punctuation, and word choice using tools like Grammarly for assistance. 2nd, peer feedback. Sharing my writing with English-speaking friends or tutors helped me gain constructive insights. Rewriting. I rewrote my drafts after receiving feedback, which reinforced the corrections and improved my skills. Step 7. Combine reading and writing. Reading and writing go hand in hand. I often combine them in these ways. 1. Summarize what you read. After reading a story or article, I wrote a short summary in my own words. This reinforced comprehension and vocabulary. 2. Write alternate endings. I rewrote the endings of stories or created sequels, which fueled my creativity while practicing language skills. 3. Keep a vocabulary notebook. I noted down new words from my reading and used them in sentences or short paragraphs to remember their meanings. Step 8. Monitor your progress. Tracking my development kept me motivated. Here's how. 1. Compare old and new writings. Reading my early journal entries compared to more recent essays showed me how far I'd come. 2nd, set goals. I aimed to read a certain number of books or write a set number of essays each month. 3. Celebrate milestones. Completing a challenging book or publishing a blog post felt like significant achievements. Reading and writing as a lifelong journey. Reading and writing in English opened doors to knowledge, culture, and self-expression. They became more than just learning tools. They turned into enjoyable hobbies. As you integrate these practices into your routine, remember that every word you read and every sentence you write brings you closer to fluency. 6th, immersion. Living the language. Immersing yourself in English is one of the most effective and transformative ways to achieve fluency. Immersion means surrounding yourself with the language in your daily life, whether you live in an English-speaking country or not. In this section, I'll walk you through practical strategies to create an immersive English environment and how it helped me not only improve, but also enjoy the journey. Why immersion works. Immersion mimics the natural way we learned our first language by being constantly surrounded by it. Here are the benefits. 1. Practical learning. You learn how English is used in real-life contexts, beyond textbooks and structured lessons. 2. Accelerated fluency. Constant exposure to English helps you think in the language, reducing the time spent translating from your native language. 3. Improved listening and speaking skills. Listening to natural conversations sharpens your comprehension, while frequent speaking builds confidence. Step 1. Surround yourself with English at home. Creating an English-rich environment at home was my first step toward immersion. Here's how you can do it. 1. Watch English media. Movies and TV shows. Start with subtitles if needed, but gradually challenge yourself to watch without them. YouTube channels. Follow channels on topics you enjoy, cooking, travel, or technology, to learn vocabulary naturally. 2. Listen to English audio, podcasts. Choose ones with clear pronunciation and engaging topics. Audiobooks. Listening to stories helps you grasp pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. 3. Label your surroundings. Place sticky notes on objects in your home with their English names, like mirror, refrigerator, or bookshelf. 4. Switch devices to English. Change the language settings on your phone, laptop, or social media platforms to English. Step 2. Engage in conversations. Speaking is often the most challenging skill, but immersion makes it a natural process. 1. Find speaking partners. Language exchange apps like Tandem or HelloTalk connect you with native speakers. Join online communities or forums where people share your interests. 2. Practice with friends and family. If you know someone learning English, practice with them. Even small conversations make a difference. 3. Talk to yourself. Narrate your daily activities aloud in English. For example, I'm going to make coffee. Where is the sugar? I found it. Practice hypothetical conversations you might have, like ordering food at a restaurant. 4. Take classes with native speakers. Online platforms like italki and Preply offer affordable lessons with native-speaking tutors. Step 3. Participate in English-speaking communities. Finding a community of English speakers was one of the most rewarding parts of my immersion journey. 1. Join local events. If you live in an English-speaking city, attend workshops, book clubs, or cultural events. 2. Online meetups. Participate in virtual gatherings or webinars conducted in English on platforms like Meetup or Zoom. 3. Volunteer. Volunteering for international organizations gave me practical speaking experience while contributing to a cause. 4. Play online games. Multiplayer games often require communication, providing a fun way to practice conversational English. Step 4. Travel or study abroad. For those who can afford it, visiting or studying in an English-speaking country offers unparalleled immersion. 1. Cultural exposure. Living in an English-speaking environment helps you understand idioms, slang, and cultural references. 2. Host families. Staying with a host family gives you daily opportunities to converse in English. Third language schools enroll in intensive English courses abroad to accelerate your learning. 4. Everyday interactions. Simple activities like grocery shopping, using public transport, or dining out enhance your practical language skills. Step 5. Make English a lifestyle. To truly immerse yourself, English must become a part of your identity. Here are some habits I adopted. 1. Read English news. Follow websites like BBC, CNN, or local English newspapers for current events. 2. Think in English. Replace thoughts in your native language with English, even for simple things like grocery lists or planning your day. 3. Follow English social media. Subscribe to English-speaking influencers or accounts that align with your interests. 4. Immerse during routine activities. Listen to English while commuting, exercising, or cooking. Step 6. Overcome challenges. Immersion can feel overwhelming at first, but persistence is key. Here's how I tackled common obstacles. 1. Feeling intimidated. I reminded myself that making mistakes is a natural part of learning. 2. Lack of resources. I started with free tools like YouTube, podcasts, and online forums before investing in paid courses or apps. 3. Plateaus. When I felt stuck, I introduced new challenges, like writing essays or joining advanced discussion groups. Step 7. Measure your progress. To stay motivated, I tracked my growth in these ways. 1. Record yourself. Comparing recordings from the past with recent ones highlighted improvements in pronunciation and fluency. 2. Set immersion. Goals. I aim to complete specific tasks, like reading an entire book or holding a 10-minute conversation without pauses. 3. Celebrate small wins. Understanding a movie without subtitles or writing a coherent email felt like significant achievements. The joy of immersion. Living the language was transformative for me. Immersion taught me not only the mechanics of English, but also its soul, its rhythm, humor, and beauty. By embracing immersion, you'll discover that English isn't just a subject to study, but a vibrant, living part of your world. Thanks a lot for watching till end. Please make sure to subscribe the channel and like the video.